I'm being joined by David Itopa, National Deputy Welfare Secretary of the African Democratic Congress. David, it's a delight to have you on Corero.
My brother, Godwin, Happy New Year. It's also a pleasure.
Forgive me for not even saying the Happy New Year part of it, because a lot of issues are begging for answers. So you forget the compliment of Happy New Year.
No, well, I understand the situation in Nigeria is such that even if you don't wish me compliments of the scene, I understand how overwhelming it can be. I mean, from the whole maladministration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's APC, I think is enough.
Since you want to take us to that part of the conversation,
you can't run away from that part of the
Let's begin the conversation first from your party, from the ADC. We understand right now they have two factions: the faction led by David Mark and the faction led by Nafiu Bala. But then the question is, this declaration 5 days ago by Nafiu Bala, could it mean that it is due to Peter Obi joining the party that the whole division in the party and the cracks is widening?
Thank you very much once again, and good evening and Happy New Year to Nigerians. My name is David Itopa, the Deputy National Welfare Secretary of ADC, and I'd like to state unequivocally clear, without missing words, that the ADC, as it were, is one and whole under the leadership of His Excellency Distinguished Senator David Mark. There is no faction. And then, of course, we understand that these are the handiworks of fifth columnists and those who have made themselves available to be a willing tool in the hands of the desperate party in power, because it's unfortunate that a political party which is in power is also desperate, and that is why they are looking for every means and avenue to, cause distractions. But be that as it may, I think Nigerians generally knows the story. They understand the true picture of things, that the ADC, as it were, it is one and whole under the leadership of His Excellency Distinguished Senator David Mark. There is no faction. We are all one. There is no crisis. We are all united under the leadership of His Excellency Senator David Mark. And then you just stated something which I want to really talk about, because you said, could that declaration be as a result of
Peter Obi joining the party?
Obi's decision to pitch tent finally with the ADC? And then I think there is a popular adage in probably many of our various local parlance and all of that the witch cried in the night, the child died in the morning. So who is responsible for the death? So obviously Peter Obi is the big masquerade that has just entered into the ring, entered into the ADC, God forbid, ADC as it were. And then, of course, it has caused a whole lot of jittery within the ranks of the APC. And they had no choice than to go back to one Nafi, who has constantly made himself available as a willing tool in the club of progress of Nigerians, as far as I'm concerned, not in the club of will of progress of the ADC. Because once you have made yourself available to be that sort of how will I put it now, a willing tool that's going to cause problems in what is going to in the events that are going to unfold into rescuing Nigeria from this abyss that we are, then you have become a clog in the wheel in the wheels of progress of Nigeria. So that's it. Because I do not understand why someone who is claiming to be legitimately having a faction of the ADC, which by the way does not exist, but we have never seen this fellow, not for once, not for the second, even criticize some of the very, very dangerous policies, flip-flop policies of the president. He has not stated a way Nigerians can move forward from this total shambles and near total collapse that we are facing as a country. But he is looking for leadership. He's looking to cause confusion in the party. Whereas this same fellow, I don't know if you are aware, had tendered his resignation letter
sometime last year.
So at what point did he become the national chairman as of the ADC, as he's parading himself everywhere? So I think these are questions begging for answers. And let me even tell you, let's even assume, without conceding, right, that he has not even resigned from the party. What processes brought him up? Because of course there must be congresses, there must be conventions, there must be NEC, because NEC has that statutory power. So at what point, what were the processes that brought him up? So this, but unfortunately, he is not being clever by half. So Nigerians can see through him. As far as we are concerned in the ADC, we are not really bothered about all this, all these characters, because we know we are prepared for it. We knew these things were going to come up, because it was not going to be what is it called? It's not going to be rosy, an all rosy affair. Even rose flowers, in rose flowers there are still thorns. So we understand all these things, and let me tell you, it has nothing to do with our preparation, our purposefulness, and our resolve, collective resolve to rescue Nigerians.
But then, the faction of the ADC, you've said there is no faction.
There's no faction
in the ADC, but then the faction have faulted Peter Obi's registration in Enugu, saying that it didn't follow due process.
Godwin, we just agreed that there is no faction. No, right? You said, at what point are you importing? Are you trying to import?
But then, looking at the Peter Obi's registration, even in Enugu, it was celebrated largely by the African Democratic Congress across board. But then the process of that registration, if not even by the faction, is the process due? Was it legitimate?
If I understand what you have just said, I would like to pose this question back to you. What were the processes that were not right?
Well, Peter Obi is from Anambra.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one would have expected Peter Obi to go back to his ward, even in Anambra, to make that declaration, and perhaps the celebration would have happened in Anambra. This was where the faction of the ADC was. Okay, this was where Nafiu Bala and his group.
I think it's we call it putting and not a long spoon.
All right, but then this is where the argument is centered on. But just speak to us about the process of registration.
Thank you very much, Godwin. Once again, who is Nafiu Bala to criticize or raise eyebrows as to the processes that was involved in the registration of His Excellency Peter Obi in the ADC? And what capacity is he speaking? So I don't want us to give credence to things that are not relevant in this case. And let me tell you, now there are various, just in case you are not aware, that as far as the ADC is concerned, we have our ways of doing our things, right? As enshrined in the constitution of our great party. And then we are constantly innovating how the political cycle should look like, right? Now, we also, are you aware that the ADC also have what we call an online registration portal, which is going through maintenance and upgrade? So are you telling me that when we finally upgrade that portal, that because Mr. XYZ, who resides probably in Sokoto, but he's a native of Buari in the FCT, he cannot register via the online portal? I mean, what are we talking about? We are talking about technology and the ease of doing things. And mind you, you are aware that Enugu is the political capital of the East. And it was not just Peter Obi who declared for the ADC on that very day. There were big speakers like Senator Abaribe, Senator Akobondu, and a host of others. And then in their wisdom, in the wisdom of these leaders, they decided that, look, let us go to the political headquarters of the Southeast and hold this historic event there. And it was at that point that the fifth columnist knew that, there was a willing to, and then they decided to activate him again. One should have asked in a few how he was able to raise the funds to get what is it called, his own, I don't know, his own arrangements in a very highbrow area of the FCT, and that he called his own national headquarters. I think that is what we should be looking at. If he is not being sponsored or used by those who do not want democracy to succeed in Nigeria. Let me tell you something. Yeah, maybe some months back we were scared that Nigeria was going to descend into a one-party system. But as it stands now, let me tell you, it is not going to work because Nigerians are behind us.
So if I understand it correctly, you're saying that first, there is no faction in the ADC
at all.
Secondly, Peter Obi coming to the party did not by any means widen or deepen the cracks in the party. If I understand it correctly.
If anything,
but then okay, you want to quickly respond?
Yes, let me quickly respond. If anything, the entrance of Peter Obi into the PDP, into the ADC, and other big wigs, has created, or rather, has further cemented our position as the one and only biggest main opposition party in Nigeria. And that is what we should be looking at.
But then I'm curious at this point. Nafiu Bala declared himself as the national chairman of the African Democratic Party exactly 4 months ago. He has paraded himself organizing press briefing across board. The ADC David Markham faction. You say, okay, David Mark team. Okay, sorry. David Mark team. David Mark team. Okay, the ADC Executive Council have decided to be mute on that conversation. Nafiu Bala has paraded himself as a factional chairman. He recognized ADC Executive Council, headed by David Mark, have decided not to make any move in order to even challenge the legitimacy or otherwise of Nafiu Bala. I'm curious, is this a deliberate attempt by ADC to dissuade or perhaps make other political parties to just think that the party is in disarray?
Well, first of all, the ADC is not in disarray. And secondly, anybody, as far as
it could be a political move. Hold on.
Nigerians must understand.
All right, please.
Nigerians must understand that anybody out there can declare himself whatever he wants to declare himself. If he doesn't hold water, does that legitimize his claims? No. I can sit down and declare on national TV now that I am the patriarch of your family. But does that hold water? No. We are having a conversation. No. It doesn't hold any water. So anybody can declare whatever he wants to declare. But we are looking at legitimacy here. So declaration, mere mouth declaration does not confer on him legitimacy of whatever he is trying to achieve. As we speak, INEC has recognized. I don't even think we should be talking about this. We have gone past this issue, right? And then let me tell you something. You rightfully said,
challenged.
Hold on. You rightfully said something that the David Mark leadership has been quiet on this issue. First of all, I am under that leadership, and at some point in time past, I have actually, tried to shed more light on some of these issues, right? And then let me also quickly state very, very importantly, sir, very, very importantly, and I think it is noteworthy that Nigerians know this. The Senator David Mark-led main opposition party, African Democratic Congress, is too busy trying to galvanize Nigerians to rescue us, this country, our future, from the deliberate rules that is being orchestrated or caused by the APC, to be, throwing stones at every dog that back on the race to achieving on the journey to achieve this very, very all important national goal. I mean, we are too busy. So I do not think at any point in time.
So it's not a deliberate move by the ADC.
I just told you.
So it's not a deliberate move by the ADC to make other political parties see or feel that the ADC is divided.
What are we going to gain if we are going to make?
It could be a political check game. It could be a political check game. The ADC right now, they are performing magic. We don't know where the direction of the ADC. So could this also be another political strategy?
Well, we have our strategies, and then we are putting it close to our chest. You rightfully agree that we have been, performing magic, and I'm telling you that this is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, in the coming days, you will see magic.
All right, speaking of magic, Nigerians are curious. First, will there be a convention? One. Would there be a Congress? On the other hand, three, will the party hand over the presidential ticket to Peter Obi?
Well, thank you for raising this issue. the truth is that if you understand how political party works, you understand that congresses, right, are part of the processes or build up to conventions. So these are party processes that builds up to convention and what have you. And so, yes, there will be congresses. When would that be? The party is yet to decide. We don't know that. But of course, there will be congresses.
As part of the magic.
There will be congresses. There will be convention. Is there any? APC have just, all Progressive Council have just, Congress have just announced, build out their timetable for congresses. So there must be Congress. These things are, how do I put it now? This is a constant key as far as any political life cycle is concerned. There will be congresses, there will be convention. Now, let me go back to what you just said about if the ADC is going to hand over their ticket to, any particular individual, maybe Peter Obi, Atiku, Amici, or even myself. No, the party does not work that way, right? Now, it is in the wisdom of the party to decide what they want to do. And whatever processes we are going to adopt, it must be democratically, be acceptable to everybody. And that is what the party is going to do. The party is going to sit down at every level and then decide and adopt these things that, look, we must adopt the position which is seen to be more democratically accepted even by international standards. And that's all I can say.
Well, across board, it is being perceived and, of course, alleged that ADC still have a lot of aggrieved members, people that are founding members of the Ubuntu movement. But because of the whole expansion, they were asked to vacate their offices, and as such, they are angry. Have the ADC been able to address these concerns?
I'm not aware of such anger. That's the truth. I'm not aware of such anger. And if anything, this is a coalition. And then, as our national chairman, in the person of His Excellency Senator David Mark has rightfully said, there are no new joiners and there are no old joiners. We are all equal joiners. I think that led to
persons that were occupying those offices prior to when the coalition took place, have they been properly compensated? Have those issues of grievances and pains
what do you mean by compensation? I want to understand in what context.
By the context of compensation, meaning were they given other portfolios in order to even appease their subconscious?
Let me tell you, if all the I's and all the T's were not, if all the I's were not dotted and all the T's were not crossed, I don't think we'll be here discussing ADC today. So, but of course, we understand this is a political cycle, it's a political family. There are bound to be, one or two misunderstandings here and there. And then it is our duty as the leaders to create an enabling environment for everybody, to grow. So, of course, even within your own immediate family, there are bound to be grievances. It's a normal thing. So I don't think we should, be hedged over the hedge.
All right, this brings us to the speculations making the rounds that Kwankwaso is joining the ADC. How correct is this speculation?
Well, I saw it over the social media just like you probably did.
Well, that's why it's a speculation. We don't have the facts.
Well, I don't have the.
But then, is Kwankwaso going to be pairing with Peter Obi come 2027?
I do not have that information, right? Because, like I said, you see, people are bound to have various interests within a political cycle or family. And then the political party, by our constitution, appears to be the only vehicle with which you can achieve whatever drives your ambition, right? So if Kwankwaso feels, or anybody for that matter feels, okay, I want to square up or team up with A, B, and C to deliver X, Y, Z, I mean, it's a personal decision. But us, as a party, the onus is bent on us to ensure that we provide a level playing field ground for everybody to realize whatever ambitions they want to realize. I mean, so I think that settles it all. But of course, the ADC is open to all well-meaning Nigerians. All well-meaning Nigerians with a common goal of rescuing our country from the chokehold of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his APC folks.
APC have alleged well, even as the president of the country. But then let's
APC is doing well.
Well, let's not get into that, because I know in that conversation you are very articulate when it has to do with that particular conversation.
Now, I wanted to be sure that it is the same Nigeria that you and I live in.
Well, a lot of people will say that the APC is doing well.
By what indices?
Well, I don't know the indices.
By what parameters?
Well, people will mention the student loan and also agricultural policies.
Have you seen any one single person?
Well, I'm not the spokesperson. I'm not holding brief for the president.
No, I know you don't.
That's why I said some persons will say that the ADC, maybe probably will bring the ADC, the APC spokesperson, and the person of Felix Moka, to also join us in this conversation.
Yeah, I would like to debate him on this particular.
Well, to reel out some
in fact, on every issues concerning their government, I would want to take him up on this.
They've been able to address security concerns, as also been speculated. They've been able to address security concerns.
Were you aware of the unfortunate incident that happened just on the streets of the FCT a few days back, where someone was kidnapped, a lady, a nurse of blessed memory, that was kidnapped, robbed, and then they killed her? Is that not?
So you are saying that the APC have not done?
They have failed in every facet of governance. They have failed in every aspect of governance. Even the easiest thing to sell to anybody is hope, right? Even the hope, Nigerians have become hopeless.
All right, but members of the ADC, the coalition, largely also are coming from the APC. So what has changed and what will change?
Yeah, I'll tell you what has changed. At some point in time, you decide to toe a particular path. And when you find out that, look, this path that I've told is leading nowhere but destruction, you would have no choice in retrospect to retract your footsteps and then look into that direction that you can, help you to succeed. And I think largely that's what has happened to those who are coming in from the APC and then all walks of life, right? Because politics must be played by politicians. We cannot import aliens from Jupiter or Mars to come and play politics for us. More so, we cannot even bring in people from Ghana to come and run the affairs of this country. We must look inward as a nation, as a people, and decide by ourselves at what point we think enough is enough.
But the likes of Aregbesola were in APC.
Well, yeah, maybe he has seen
that. They were in APC and they moved to the ADC. So at this point, Nigerians are asking, what new thing is ADC bringing to the table? If we are recycling politicians,
I do not think
ADC looks like a team of recycled politicians.
I would not
from party A to B to party C.
Godwin,
please go ahead.
Godwin, thank you. You see this particular issue you've raised. I love it. Because when people tell you politicians are being recycled, right? I would not want to call names. So there are politicians within the APC that have not been recycled, that are just fresh entrants into the political scene. What has been the achievement so far? What have they achieved so far in terms of deliverables? So that is a no-go area. Like I said, if at some point in time I am on this path and I discover that, look, this path leads nowhere but destruction, I will have to retrace my step. Except, of course, something is wrong somewhere. And that is what is happening. I am telling you, and then majority of Nigerians know, except those who want to be all about blind followership, right? And patronizing the government of the day for whatever gains they want, they might be looking at. I think it's the general consensus by the majority of Nigerians that this government has failed in all spheres, in all facets of governance.
Like I said before, but the APC would disagree with you on that statement. But then when we get the APC to talk back to us about this, we'll definitely bring you back to look at this. But then let's even look at the generality of the ADC. What should Nigerians be expecting?
Well, Nigerians should expect a complete turnaround of governance. Nigerians should expect good life. Nigerians should expect progress. Nigerians should expect that for once we will begin to have what we call the Nigerian of our dreams. A Nigeria where you can wake up as a son of nobody and then rise up to the best you can be, the highest, the highest aspiration or whatever you desire to be in life. I think that sum it up all. Nigerians should look up to a country where you can drive from point A to B without looking over your shoulders. Nigerians should expect that the ADC is going to deliver a country where the security of lives and properties of Nigerians is what is topmost on our government's agenda, rather than, propaganda.
But then this statement, what you've just said right now, it seems like a very fantastic rhetoric, a gorgeous metaphor being used by almost all the politicians.
No. The difference, of course. Let me tell you, the difference is the political will. The difference is political will, right? Of course, anybody can come on air to say whatever they want to say, but the difference is political will. It is a reoccurring statement being used by politicians. The ADC has done something no political party has been able to do since the inception of democracy, the thought of democracy.
It's a beautiful metaphor. It's a beautiful metaphor.
No. It's a beautiful metaphor.
No, it's a beautiful metaphor.
I'll speak to you.
Politicians that embellish themselves got just metaphors and idioms.
Hold on, Godwin.
See,
it is not about idioms, metaphors, or what have you. We are matching words with action. Years back, you probably would not have seen a young man like me on the national TV speaking to Nigerians in this capacity. A son of nobody, right? And then the ADC has just done that. A whole lot of us, young people who have value, who are coming to add value, who believe that Nigeria can still be rescued, are sitting on the decision-making table of the ADC that has a Senator David Mark as its chairman, His Excellency Rauf Aribeshola as the secretary, Malam Bolaji Abdullahi as the publicity secretary, and so many other big wigs. And then there are young people like some of us too that seated on that table taking decisions. If nothing else, I think Nigerians already believe that we are going to match words with action.
Well, believe is a very wide word to use. The question is, can Nigerians trust the ADC to give them the kind of life and promises that you've said? Or should we be skeptical again, knowing fully well that at one point in time in this country, allegedly a political party promised Nigeria to take us to the El Dorado, and we find ourselves more backward. Right now, Nigeria has not left the poverty train. Can we trust the ADC to take us from point A to point B, or this is just another gorgeous metaphor?
When the coalition ADC betted, the ADC promised that it's going to constitute 35% women in its executive council and 40% youth in the executive council. Did we achieve that or not? Did we achieve that or not? We did. The ADC did. This is a strong takeout. This is a strong point. And in fact, it is on this basis that Nigerians are rallying behind the ADC in their numbers. Seeing that for every promises we've made, we've kept to our words. We've matched every word with actions and not just rhetorics, like you claim.
Not claim. We've seen it play out.
That's not going to happen in the ADC.
It's not claim.
That's not going to happen in the ADC. It
has become like a reoccurring phenomenon, a common decimal factor across Nigerian body politics. That politicians go with all of these narratives. We promise to make $1 equal to 1 naira. We promise to ensure that you can walk across Nigeria with your shoulders up and without being afraid.
When anybody,
the child of nobody becoming a somebody. We've seen all of this rhetoric. It's not just me saying. There are a lot of Nigerians watching us right now.
I think Nigerians know those who. I think Nigerians are too intelligent to know the kind of things or the kind of words that comes out of people's mouths that does not just sound, but of course automatically you know this is fraud.
Well, it has become a recurring thing, and you say we can trust you.
You can trust us because in the ADC there is nothing we have said that we've not matched with action.
Public of the ADC is not yet in power.
I bet you that when we get to power,
before a political party got to power, we saw more promises than what was discharged eventually.
And I am telling you today that Nigerians can hold us to account. You can take our words to the bank. That when we, by the grace of God, 2027, dislodge the APC through the voting powers of Nigerians, the majority of Nigerians who are tired of this suffering and this insecurity, I can assure you that Nigerians will begin to breathe fresh air.
Well, away from the adulterated air, let's move.
I'm glad you said so.
No, you said that you'll breathe fresh air. So I don't know. I don't agree per se. I don't know if the air we're breathing right now is adulterated. But then, let's even look at the whole Peter Obi coming to ADC. Again, a lot of Nigerians are curious to also find out at this point, will the ADC also tilt its banner towards the obedient movement? If yes, if Peter Obi is not given the ticket for the ADC presidential party, for the presidential ticket for the ADC, will this movement, the obedient movement, still stay with the ADC?
Yeah, thank you very much once again for that question. But I want you to understand that I am not part of the obedient movement. I am a party executive. I am one who is looking forward.
Of course, decision making is coming directly from the party executive.
Exactly, but then I am not part of the obedient movement. So whatever they are going to decide after the outcome of the primary elections, I wouldn't know. But again, I think there will be no reason for anybody who believes that the country is already, on the brinks.
Allegedly.
How much is your purchasing power? Now, anybody who believes that the country is already on the brinks.
Allegedly. Let's allege on it.
Okay.
All right.
Anybody who believes that there's a need to rescue Nigeria.
Okay.
Right? I think it will be a disservice to self and country if you decide to look the other way because certain things will not go in your favor. No, this is not the time to look at such things, right? And then, as a party executive, I am appealing to Nigerians that look, what is most important is not about self. It is about rescuing Nigeria. Of course, people will say all sorts of things. Oh, if this doesn't go this way, this doesn't go that way. But look, this is a political party, like I said. The party leadership is going to sit down and they are going to, of course, the party will decide the modalities that is best acceptable in terms of the norms of democracy around the world. So for me, I think Peter Obi coming into the ADC is a big plus, a huge plus for us. And I congratulate him for taking the side of Nigerians, coming into the ADC and see that we can pull the house together, rally Nigerians around together, and then see how we can, put an end to this clueless autopilot government that we have.
Alleged clueless government. So let's allege on it because we can't authoritatively say the government is clueless. But then I'm not a spokesperson for the government. I'm not holding brief for the government. But at this point, I've been signaled that it's time for us to go. Any last word to Nigerians before?
No, of course. Once again, I want to appeal to Nigerians that look, I am one of those, Nigerians that believe that we are not living our best life as Nigerians. I am one of those that believe that the future is blurry because we cannot begin to leave politics in the hands of those who do not mean well and those who think governance is trial and error. So I am appealing to Nigerians, especially the youth demography, which constitute about 61% of voters in Nigeria, to rally round the African Democratic Congress, ADC, and see how we can rescue this nation. I mean, this is a call is a patriotic call to duty.
Well, the problem with when you allow politicians to give last word, they turn it to campaign.
No, I'm not campaigning.
No problem. We need to send you the voucher after the show.
I'm not campaigning.
We need to send you the voucher after the show. This automatically is not a campaign.
I'm not campaigning.
It's okay.
I'm always challenging.
Are you sure otherwise? I just a campaign have started.
No, I've not campaigned.
No problem.
I didn't call
We'll give you the voucher at the end of the show. But that's what I want to say. Thank you so much, David Topa, for finding out time to be with us here on Correro.
Thank you so much.
Well, viewer, this is how far we can go today on the show. Don't forget that you can join us and follow us across all our social media handle currently showing on your screen. And you can also download the Rapid TV app from your Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. My name is Godwin Sunday. Always remember, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Do enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye for now.